Hey, welcome back to Gronskei Books. I am Eric Gronskei. It's about noon, and I've had this crazy idea in my head lately that I want to try to read for 24 hours straight. So I'm just going to do it. I have not been sleeping real well. So I'm going to use my insomnia as a superpower. It's real insomnia. I have actual insomnia. I'm being treated for it by my doctors. I don't have anything going on for the next 3 days, so I can totally disrupt my entire sleep schedule consequence free. So I'm just gonna go for it right now. I've tried this a couple of times in the past and I've never made it past 16 hours. But the first thing I have to do is pick out a whole bunch of books. Now, as I go along, I'm not gonna tell you what these books are. That's gonna be part of the fun. So I'm trying to pick shorter books, not so that I can increase my book count. It's more about being able to finish things along the way and make some progress. I don't wanna read anything too terribly long. So I've actually got 20 sheets of paper here. I'm gonna lay them out here on the desk, and I'm gonna cover these up, and I'll tell you why in a second. I admit, this is mostly just for gimmick. This is just for fun. This is just to kind of gamify it a little bit. And okay, that doesn't look too bad, does it? That looks kind of fun. But I do have a D20 right here. All right, now, so before I roll to see which book I'm gonna start with, a couple of things. This is a 24-hour reading challenge. I will not sleep, and I will not be counting the time that I'm not reading as part of the 24 hours. But again, insomnia is my superpower. So we're gonna pace ourselves, and we're gonna get through this. I have very high confidence that I'm gonna at least get a huge chunk of the 24 hours done. I wanna read as much of this as I possibly can before I go to sleep. Without further ado, let's roll this dice. Oh, there it goes. Try that again. 7. Book number 7. All right, let's see what book number 7 is. This is the first book that we're gonna read. And this has been on my TBR since I was in high school, probably. This is To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. I mentioned this in another video earlier this year. This is one of the books that I've been wanting to read for a very, very, very long time. Virginia Woolf is one of my literary blind spots, and today's the day. Whew, okay, what a marvelous book. I can't wait to read it again. That's where I'm at with this. Honestly, because normally how I read is I kind of try to read slow, I take notes. But for this event, this challenge, I'm just reading straight through. I definitely have to return to this one. I'm not accustomed to reading a book with an omniscient third-person narrator. And so Virginia Woolf, she kind of filters it through all the different people of the scene, sometimes without any kind of breaks. This is what we might call head hopping in some cases, but it's used to tremendous effect here. On the downside, because I was not taking my time with this, sometimes I was getting a little confused on whose thoughts I was currently in. Anyway, this book took a hell of a turn that I wasn't expecting. When I reread it, I want to pay a special close attention to, art, practicality, the use of color and light, obviously water, and the last line of the book, I won't say it, but the last line of the book has me really wondering what I missed. I know that I missed something, and reading fast isn't probably the best way to consume fine literature, but it is 4:24 now. I started reading this at 12:20. I did take a couple of short breaks, but I paused the timer when I took those breaks because I want to get 24 hours of reading in, and I want to see how long that takes me. But right now, I need to run down the block, a couple blocks from here. There's a shop that I need to drop off some old Hi8 videotapes. They're going to digitize those for me, and I got to get those over there before they close. So I'm going to get my little walk in. I'm going to go down there, and I'll come back, and I'm going to pick the next book. All right, number 7 has been replenished. So there's a book there under number 7. And we're gonna roll again. 13. 13. Book number 13. So that is right here. And we've got Eugene O'Neill's Long Day's Journey into Night, originally published in 1955. All right, here we go. Okay, I'm really bad at this. Before I tell you what I thought of Long Day's Journey into Night, I started recording the time lapse halfway through the book. I took a break. I took just a quick break, and when I came back, I restarted the timer, and then I double checked my recording, and I hadn't turned that on yet. So that was the first big mistake. And then just now, I finished the play, and I hit stop and reset. It was 6 hours and something. Anyway, Long Day's Journey into Night, wow, what a play. Eugene O'Neill manages to pack in just about everything you could ever want in a drama. The two boys, the father and the mother, are all so deeply developed. The youngest son, Edmund, is very sick. The older brother, Jamie, is an alcoholic. The father, Tyrone, a former actor, he's into real estate now. And the mother is mourning the death of her second child, so the one that came between Jamie and Edmund. Who's the middle child who died was Eugene. It's interesting to me that Eugene O'Neill named the dead baby Eugene, and so in her grief she has turned to morphine, and so the play is about addiction, not just to morphine but to alcohol. To being miserly. Tyrone is a spendthrift, we'll say, even though he's sitting on top of a lot of property and he's very well-to-do. The sickness of the youngest son isn't just in his lungs. Turns out he's got consumption, but he's also very depressed, which concerns him more, it seems, than his actual physical ailment. Nobody in this family understands each other. The bulk of this play is them revealing their pasts to one another. They all accuse each other of lying. Turns out that they all have secrets, and it's just so layered. It is so well written. It was very moving. It's funny too. There's some good. There's some good, well-placed jokes in there. Man, I adored this play. This was phenomenal. I hope to see it on stage someday now. This was really wonderful. But again, I screwed up my timer. It's at all zeros now. So I'm going to take a quick break. I'm trying to think of how to fix this. Okay. All right, so I did figure it out. I just pulled up a 24-hour count-up timer on YouTube. On the iPad, and I was able to play the time lapse back, and I saw that I ended at 6 hours and 34 minutes. So I just scrubbed over to that on the YouTube video, and that way I'll just pause it, and I'll keep track of the splits on my own. So right now, I'm actually headed over to the comic book store. Something that I ordered came in. I had a phone call. I had a voice message waiting for me when I looked at my phone. So the comic book store ordered the wrong thing, so I had to go over to the ice cream shop and get a pint of Giandoja ice cream. If you've never had Giandoja, you're missing out. Okay, so we're back. So far, so good. It is 8:41. I guess the bad news is that I've been reading for 6 hours and 34 minutes, but I've been doing this now for 8 hours and 20 minutes. So I'm about 2 hours and 10 minutes on the non-reading side. And maybe that's the secret to this, is not to burn myself out on the reading. Honestly, these little walks through the neighborhood has been really helpful. So I am ready to pick the next book. I'm actually getting really excited about what's next, which book is coming next. So if you would just kindly come with me, we shall come over here. Okay, ready? Here we go. What's next? Number 13 again. Lucky number 13. I reloaded 13, but let's see what's going to be under here, huh? I actually forgot what it is already. Yeah, so this is Donald Atram, Elect Mr. Robinson for a Better World. Copyright 1993. So we're looking at 183 pages, so this is probably the next 3 hours or so. Holy crap. What a gonzo book this is. On the surface, it's about a small community in which the mayor has been fired, so there's a vacancy, and Pete Robinson, the title character in Elect Mr. Robinson for a Better World, has aspirations to perhaps fill those shoes. And so his plan is to revitalize the neighborhood education, which is part of the reason I think that the mayor lost his position. So the mayor didn't get fired. The opening scene of the book is actually the neighborhood executing him for failing to uphold like education standards. So the book satirizes neighborhood politics, home defense. They dig pits in their backyard and and put like stakes down there or broken glass to trap intruders. They're like all the homes in the neighborhood are booby trapped and everyone is preoccupied with home defense. There's a turtle park somewhere in the middle of town that is like contested property, and so it's dangerous to go in there at night. There's a man who was killed and now his son has sworn revenge and he refuses to leave the park until he puts a bullet in the man who killed his father. This kid is like 10 years old. It's all played up for laughs. This is a very funny book, but this is some dark humor. Pete's wife, Meredith. Well, let's just say that this book takes getting in touch with your spirit animal to the next level. And the book ends with probably the most disastrous first day of school you could possibly imagine. I don't know, it's just such a wild, bizarre book. There's a guy who's got water moccasins as basically like his attack dog for home security. This book is just completely outrageous. It was a lot of fun to read, easy breezy. There is some darkness, especially the end. This is a dark comedy for sure. This was expertly done. This is some of the best absurdist comedy that I've ever read. And I'm very much looking forward to reading some of the other books that I have by Antrim on my shelf. One of the things that they do in the book, though, is they make a lot of food. And so and twice in the book, Pete and Meredith are making soup. And that reminded me, as I was reading, that I've got a soup to make.
But a lot of times, like, you're like, ooh, I really want this, but then you like talk yourself out of it, and then after you leave, you don't like, I don't get home and go, man, I really should have bought that. I probably never think about it again. So,
that's where you and I are different, because I spend the rest of my life, I should have bought that book that was going to sit on my desk for 2 years before I thought about it again. Like,
I can't really think of too many books.
All right, the soup is set to simmer. I'm gonna have to let that cook a little bit. So I'm gonna get back to reading. The table is set. Number 13 is recharged. And so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna roll this. Good focus on that here. 12. All right, and so number 12, we've got Colson Whitehead Nickel Boys. Sweet, I got this for free from my library when this came out. I just have not gotten around to reading it. That is what we'll be doing here. So this is just over 200 pages. We'll be doing this for the next 3-4 hours. I will take a break to eat my soup when the time comes to eat my soup. All right, I'm just gonna take this outside. It's early. I don't wanna wake anybody up. I've only got just over 12 hours of actual reading done. So I'm at like the halfway point for my goal, but I've got 8 hours left on the 24-hour clock. I'm doing pretty good. I'm starting to get a little bit sleepy right now, so this walk is going to be kind of important for me right now. I don't know how far I'm going to go. I'm probably going to walk for 20-30 minutes, and then we'll pick the next book. But I need to move my body and get moving around. Man, it is quiet out here. Not too far off a main road. There's a little pavilion over here, so I'm just going to go set up over here. Kind of feel like I've been raptured. Just left here with the crickets and frogs. I think Nickel Boys is connected to Colson Whitehead's novel Crook Manifesto. Editing Eric, tell me if I've got that right. Hey, editing Eric here. No man, that ain't right. Crook Manifesto is the second book in Colson Whitehead's Harlem trilogy. Harlem Shuffle was the first book, so you're all messed up, man. But go read those, they look pretty good. The primary action of Nickel Boys takes place between 1963 and 1968. This is desegregation America. Most of this takes place in Florida, Tallahassee, and environs. Nickel is the name of a school for troubled youth. It is a segregated school for troubled boys. So there's a white side and a black side. Elwood, our narrator, is one of the black children on the black side of Nickel. So the Nickel Boys are the kids that he goes to school with. It's a brick factory. And the book just deals with hardships of the black community during segregation in the American South in that era. What I really appreciate about Colson Whitehead's writing in this is that he doesn't tell you what to think. He reports the facts. Now this is fiction, but everything here is true to life. So Nickel is based on another school. In the acknowledgments, I forgot the name of the school, but Colson Whitehead mentions that the characters are his. This is a work of fiction, but this school is based on a real school, and all of these things are true to life. These things really happened. Colson Whitehead won the Pulitzer Prize for this novel, but it's surprisingly not too terribly of a heavy read. There are definitely some passages in there that I had to put the book down for just a minute and digest what I just read. But, like I said, he doesn't tell you what to think. He just reports the facts, and then lets you come to your own conclusions. Very powerful writing in that way. This is not just a story about segregation in America. This is a story about a young man growing up. The fiction works both as a vehicle to convey the plight of Black Americans during desegregation, but it also works as a story just in and of itself, to include one hell of a twist at the end that really kind of took my breath away. I will definitely be reading more Colson Whitehead. He's a wonderful writer. I read it fairly quickly, for this being the fourth book of the night, 12 hours in to my reading, 16 hours into the challenge. I was surprised how quickly I got through the book. It's just preeminently readable prose. All right, so I'm gonna head back to the house. I suppose it's gonna be about time to pick another book. This is my favorite part of this whole challenge, is that I don't know what book is coming next. Just the anticipation of rolling that dice. It's really cool. I really like it. All right, we are just gonna go right ahead and roll that dice. Man, my apartment is not usually this much of a mess. Okay. You ready? Here we go. Gotta get this focused down here. Oh, I went under there. That was dumb, Eric. That's pretty good. 14, will you focus? Thank you. And that's right here, okay. What's it gonna be? The Crying of Lot 49 by Thomas Pynchon. Now, I've read this before, but it's been a while, and I selected this because Pynchon's new novel, Shadow Ticket, is coming out in just a couple of days, and I'm super excited for that, so I wanted to go back his older books. This is the shortest one. This is one of those deceptively short books, though. It is 183 pages. This is not a super fast read. The sun is going to come up in just under 2 hours, which means the sky is going to start changing in about an hour and a half. So give me a minute to get the camera set up outside. Let's get to reading, huh? Okay, so that last couple of hours was really tough. Even sitting outside, it was like 64 degrees with the breeze. I had to get a jacket, it was cool. I was listening to 9 Inch Nails, just trying to like keep the energy up. And even with that, my eyes are starting to like close involuntarily. Part of that was the sun was coming up and getting in my face, so that's always tough. But I came down here to the market, the Saturday market. Mostly I just came down here as an excuse to move around. And I'm right at about 15 hours of reading time, so that's still a lot. It's still 9 hours to read yet. My library opens up at 9 o'clock. It's about 1.5 miles away from my apartment. So I'm gonna go upstairs, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, pack up a bag, and I'm gonna get ready to go for a walk, like a long walk. And I'm gonna stop at the library to read, and then I'm gonna stop at a park and I'm gonna read. But I need to like keep moving around right now if I'm gonna do this. But this is really turning into quite a struggle right now. I bought some monkey bread. I'm gonna eat some monkey bread and drink this coffee. I'm excited about that. All right, bye. All right, I just got this stupid idea. Why do I always get stupid ideas, man? Forgive this mess. I am in the process of moving. There are 3 libraries in my area here because I want to know how far it would be if I walked a circuit to all of them, because my idea is that if I walk to the nearest library and I read for 2 hours, and then I walk to the next library and I read for 2 hours, and then I walk to the third library and I read for 2 hours, I think I'll have enough time to walk and read at all those. And then that'll leave me with 3 hours left, so then I'll walk home in the evening and I'll have 3 hours to read. This is so masochistic of me, man. That's a 13-mile walk, so I might just have time to do this. Do they actually close at 5? I just gotta make sure. Oh, they're open till 6. I got time, but I don't have, which I can do it. I can do it. They're open till 6, so I can get the reading in. But I have to leave now. Okay, bye. Okay, so I'm here, and I got lucky enough that there is a private meeting room available, so I got that reserved for myself. I'm going to be reading this very, very small book. This is Stefan Zweig's Chess Story. My very good friend Liz bought this for my birthday a couple months ago. 84 pages long. As soon as I finish this, I'm just gonna immediately jump out of here and run over to the next library, which is a lot farther away. This library is 1.5 miles from my house. It's the shortest walk of the day. I'm gonna get to reading, and then I'm gonna bounce right away. As soon as I finished reading Chess Story by Stefan Zweig, I left the library right away, so I didn't get a chance to do my review. I'll do that in just a quick second. See, the thing is, the libraries didn't open at 9 o'clock today. They opened at 10, but they closed at 6, so I still had just the 8 hours. So I got 1 hour and 41 minutes of reading done at the first library, and here I am back at the second library. However, it's already 2 o'clock. I've got 4 hours. And the other library is about 1.5 hour or 2 hour walk from here. I just don't have enough time to read here, walk there, and read there. So I'm just gonna stay here for the next 4 hours and just read. I'll tell you what I'm gonna read in just a second. I got it right here. But I kinda wanna talk about Chess Story real quick. So this was fantastic little novella. So this is the first thing by Stefan Zweig I've ever read. It is indeed a chess story, but it's not what you think. I read the introduction to this, which added another 10 pages. So it's an 84-page novella, so plus 10 pages. So in the introduction, they said that one of the common literary devices that Stefan Zweig uses, especially in his novellas, like a narrator, a first-person narrator who's relating a tale that somebody told to him. If you've ever seen Grand Budapest Hotel, which was based on the writings of Stefan Zweig, that is exactly what you see happening there. The narrator here really has nothing to do with the action of the story, except that he was in a room once where some of these other people existed. Somebody related to him a story about a couple of chess players. The story starts off fairly common enough for more like a chess story, something that you might see in a movie, like, you know, like a chess prodigy kind of wowing the crowd and maybe having some sort of personality quirk, maybe a little abrasive, and it just makes really engaging reading. But then the novella takes this really crazy left-hand turn. It gets super psychological, so psychological in fact that Sigmund Freud called Chess Story a masterpiece. I don't think that Stefan Zweig had any pretensions to being an actual psychoanalyst, but he did admire Sigmund Freud and they corresponded, and I got all this from the introduction, so this isn't any of my own observations or any external research, but I found that really fascinating. And the thing is, it delivered on that. It was something wholly unique. I've never read anything like this. I mean, I've read psychological things and kind of, you know, deep dives into like a you know, mania and obsession. Monomania, is that what they called it? Like having a single object of your obsession. It's fantastic. Just a wonderful story. And I'm just like really thrilled that so far on this 24-hour reading challenge, I have not struck out yet. I've been really happy with every single thing that I've read. Super cool. So the next thing that I'm reading, this is Ice by Anna Cavan. I don't actually remember much about this, except that this is supposed to be another kind of experimental novel that sort of resists traditional form. It's not very long. I intentionally picked these shorter ones for today. This is 170 pages though, so it's not, I mean, it's short, but it's not as short as Chess Story. Instead of rolling the dice, I realized we didn't get a dice roll on this, but these were a couple of the books that were under the sheets on my table. They are table set books. I just picked them because I had to get out the door really fast, and I wanted to pick the two shortest ones that were left on the table, so this is it. So I'm just here outside. It's nice sitting here in the shade. The sun is moving that way, which means that the shadow is going to encroach on me here real soon, and I might move in if the sun is on me. After walking here, I think it's 4.5 miles to get here from the last library, alongside the highway in the sun. Anyway, I'm just going to get to reading now. Whew, it's getting windy over here, that's for sure. This book, Ice, is 170 pages long. This is a book with unnamed characters in unnamed places. I think it's told out of sequence. The narrative switches between first and third person from paragraph to paragraph sometimes, and I don't know if it's the same guy and it's like a dream version of himself. I'm just not sure. I hate saying this. It feels sort of Kafka-esque. It seems like a lazy way to describe something, but the way that he's traveling through these unnamed places and speaking to wardens and people who are in charge with just naming them by their titles and having these strange conversations, the repetitive nature of the dialogue. It's competently written. I don't mean like it to say that it sounds like a hack job of Kafka. It's just kind of the impression that I got. It's not like Kafka. It's darker. It got some sexual content that's uneasy. I think intentionally so. Not particularly graphic, just uneasy and uncomfortable. I just don't think this is the right book to read when you've been awake for 30 hours because I feel like I'm missing something really important. I'm going to go inside. I'm going to stay here till 6. I think I've got a couple more hours before 6. I'm going to find something here that's really light and easy, just something really easy breezy, get a couple more hours of reading inside, and then I'm going to head home. I gotta kind of talk a little bit quiet because I'm still at the library. They're closing really soon. I have 18 pages left in this. This is a 170 page book. I have 18 pages left, but this is a really sweet book for the most part. So this is, I guess, published posthumously. So the author, this cat Me, for 20 years, she left her husband and she left her family and moved all over Japan. But she had this cat the whole time. They had this kind of almost indescribable bond. She spent 170 pages describing the bond, so it is describable. But there's poetry in here.
Attention all guests, the library will close in 5 minutes. All items must be checked out by that time. The computers have now shut down. Thank you.
So that's my cue. I gotta get out of here, so it's time for me to walk home. I'm gonna finish the last 18 pages of this at home, and then I will figure out how many minutes and hours I have left to hit my 24. I don't know how many miles it is to walk home. I gotta check that out. I just remembered that the ice cream I bought last night is still in my freezer, completely untouched. That's motivation to get home. I gotta get up on my horse. All right, so I left the library at 6 o'clock and headed home. Along the way, pick up some groceries at the grocery store, and I made it home around 7 p.m. That finished off 10 miles of walking today, and I went down and I checked my mail. And this was all the mail that I had just today. A lot of those are all medications. Then I called my sister and a couple other people. I had a bunch of calls and text messages that I missed all day because I've been reading and walking and just ignoring my calls. And now I'm home, I've showered, I've changed my clothes. This may look like the exact same black short sleeve collared button-up shirt, but I assure you this is an entirely different black short sleeve button-up, whatever I said, collared shirt. Totally different shirt. So here's the thing. So I added up all my time reading and from today. So I got another 5.5 hours. And this is where I'm at. So it's like 20 hours, 19 minutes, and 53 seconds. And that's going to be actually pretty close. So, I'm thinking, why not just do this? I've come this far into this challenge. Why not just do it? Go all the way. I've got just under 4 hours left to read. And where's the book? I've got just the book. This is When the Killing's Done by T.C. Boyle. I picked this up from a little library when I was out on a walk a couple of days ago. I think that this is the one. This is the one that's going to take me home. It's the newest book in my collection. Let's get it done. I can't hardly see. But it's 3 o'clock. It's 3:03 in the morning. No. If you're going to judge a book strictly by its cover and you saw this, you would be forgiven if you thought that this was a thriller. It is not. The time frame jumps back and forth, which is something that I like. So this is an ecological novel, which is something that I like, and it's personified, the ecology is not personified. I'm having a hard time. Oh my gosh, okay. So it's an ecological novel. The time frame jumps back and forth. There are characters who embody different sides of that. The book is primarily concerned with invasive species, which is something that I like. It does take place in California, Oxnard, Santa Cruz Island, and so it's coastal Southern California. The time frame jumps back and forth between, is it the 60s or the 70s? And then there's some period. I think there's three different. There's some period. There's three different. The time frame jumps back and forth. Three different time periods that it jumps back and forth between. But even so, the book follows 3 generations of women across time. The way he moves back and forth through time, different parts of revealing different story. But I tend to like that in books. I'm getting a little sidetracked. All of the conflict is coming from the outside, but I tend to like that in books. So when authors mishandle it, it's especially bothersome. Generations propagating through time. All of the conflict is coming from the outside. It's very clever. It's very good. And it's not. I mean, it's a just really expertly done. It's not like done on the nose. It's just really expertly done. It's not. That being said, there's something that I didn't really like about the book. Every single character in this book is two-dimensional. But I tend to like that in books. Now, two-dimensional characters have their place. Who they are at the start of the book is who they are at the end of the book. But none of them. I mean, their circumstances change, and they respond. They respond to their circumstances. Internal conflict. All of the conflict is coming from the outside. And so I said that this isn't a thriller. The first chapter of this book, though, is one of the most thrilling sequences I've ever read in a book ever. But I tend to like that in books. I'm getting a little sidetracked. I am a little tired. So you'll forgive me. The two-dimensional characters, people that I like. I like these people. There's one man in particular in the book. His name is LaJoy. LaJoy there's no subtlety, and maybe not so evil, but he's boorish and obstinate. I like these people. If you're gonna write perfect opposition to the female protagonist, you couldn't write a more exaggerated, dichotomous character than Dave LaJoy. He's not supposed to be likable. He's supposed to be a very unlikable character, but his characterization is also unlikable. I forgot it. I'm so tired. I forgot. I'm just rambling. Holy cow. The sheep farming and interests, protagonist, no overlapping. However, chock-a-block, which is something that I like. Story, thrilling. So this is another thing that I really like. There are long passages of just straight up nonfiction, kind of the history of Santa Cruz Island and the sheep farming and these long passages like that, and then it'll drift back into character's point of view again. I really like how he did that. Kind of similar ones that I've read called fiction. I think a lot of T.C. Boyle's stuff is very light novel, like a very but combined with writing like very readable, very fun. Let's forget it. I am just definitely losing the plot. I don't know how I'm possibly going to edit this review together.
Watch his foot tap. That's the timing of when he's on time. He gets that short toe down and ball.